And at least Yugi has his mom, unlike a certain someone we'll have to discuss next. Oh boy.
Ooh.
Yeah. Seto Kaiba.
Big oof.
Okay, here we go.
Yugi's biggest arch rival. Basically, Mokuba Kaiba's older brother who helps aid in his successes. Virtually ruthless towards pretty much any opponent he faces. Is hilariously a reincarnation of the Pharaoh's cousin.
I also learned that his father and my father were brothers.
Are you saying we're cousins?
And basically has suffered a huge history of child abuse and hardship. He's also an 18-year-old billionaire CEO of Kaiba Corp, which he basically bought out from his own stepfather/adoptive father.
When he was a child, mind you.
Yep. And was unknowingly the stepbrother of one Noah Kaiba, who is only in, the virtual world arc, but we won't go too into that one.
Didn't, like, Noah die or something?
Yeah, he did, saving Seto. Yep. So, as much as I don't care for Noah Kaiba, props to him, but moving on. He also built his own amusement park to basically make kids happy.
That was actually one of his childhood goals when he was a kid, and he was actually still with Mokuba in the orphanage, and he said he was going to build Kaiba Land so all the kids could be happy.
It was a reason why he took control of Kaiba Corp. His dream for both himself and his brother. And also is a proud owner of the 3 legendary Blue Eyes White Dragons and refuses to bow to anyone.
You know what's funny? Blue Eyes White Dragon is technically one of the strongest cards and stuff, but ever since the show progressed, more powerful cards with stranger effects always seem how to beat it, you know what I mean?
True.
I find it funny.
Well, it was the strongest card of the time. When you know.
Yeah.
But
not to mention, there's an unspoken rule thanks to Blue Eyes. Unless you happen to have a monster with specific summon requirements or has a really powerful effect, Blue Eyes White Dragon is technically the strongest normal monster in the game.
Pretty much.
But going further.
Yeah. Anything else to add to Kaiba, or should we just talk about
basically, if you look at, I have to point out the Season 0 comparison one more time here. Like, Kaiba, believe it or not, is a bit more tame in the second series than he is in Season 0 and the manga.
Oh god, yes. Real quick, I remember this bit of the manga. Kaiba actually killed people to get the Blue Eyes cards.
Yep, he did.
He traveled around the world and, committed murder.
Technically,
honestly,
no. He drove his victims to suicide.
Huh. Ironic.
Yep.
I sense a bit of irony there.
No.
Yeah.
I sense a bit of irony there. I really do.
Now that is irony!
Honestly, all I remember about Season 0 Kaiba is that he had green fucking hair.
Oh, God.
That was the only thing I remember.
Kaiba.
That was weird.
Yeah, that wonderful GIF where he's staring outside the window and it's raining.
Oh, God. I'm just gonna say, he's a fucking dick. I respect the man, but he's a dick. And while I've watched Season 0 recently, I can't remember every single detail, unfortunately. But, Crossy, Mizu, your thoughts on Seto Kaiba, since we already know Zammy's?
No. White lightning, please. Thank you.
I think Seto is a good arch rival to Yugioh and Yami.
Also a good fuck buddy.
God damn it, Sammy.
Only in your dreams.
Also, another tidbit that I remember from also reading the manga Season 0, Kaiba legit was willing to kill his own brother in the manga too.
This is true.
Oh, God.
The Def T games, which ironically was invented by Mokuba, not Seto. Mokuba's a little shit, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Justin, your thoughts on Kaiba?
I find it weird how when it comes to certain other characters, he doesn't really lose, but he only loses to Kaiba because of plot. Yeah, he's a real great rival if he's only going to lose to him a bunch.
Yeah, let's be honest.
But in all seriousness, he's alright with a character. I'm not saying anything bad about him. Though I feel like if I have to be honest, I like Kaiba a a little more when some character development around the mid part of Duelist Kingdom and at the beginning of Battle City and forward.
Can't forget the Virtual World arc. As much as I can't believe I have to bring that up, because a good chunk of his character
Virtual World?
The one where he met Noah. Actually.
Okay, because remember there was 2 virtual reality situations.
Yeah,
the Virtual World season, I should say, because as much as it's not particularly plot critical, it did play a huge role in Kaiba's development.
Yes, but you know what I mean. Like I just went for Battle City and onward and all that. As for Kaiba, he's a very interesting rival. He can really put up a good fight when he needs to. He's got some good strategy, and he's a very smart tactician and computer genius when it comes to technology. It really helps him out in most situations. With Kaiba, he's all right.
If you look at the reasons to why Kaiba does what he does, you can't help but sympathize with him at least a little bit. Because
he does it all for Blue Eyes.
I was talking mostly about his overall long-term goals.
Honestly, I don't care what you say. Any man that builds a Blue Eyes White Dragon jet for a living, I think there's a little issue that needs to be developed here. Kaiba, I think it's time for an intervention. Never! I will love my Blue Eyes to the end. Free!
There's actually a deeper connection to that, but we'll get to that later.
I know.
Actually,
I'm making jokes.
I know, but I'm just stating facts.
Your facts.
Moving on. One other thing to
unlike
note,
you, the cake is a lie.
One other note I should make about Kaiba is the reason for his Blue Eyes White Dragon fix is actually deeper than the jokes would have you believe. The reason for it being that in a past life he was, as I stated earlier, the cousin of the pharaoh, basically. And to put a long story short, he had a connection with a young girl who had the power of the Blue Eyes White Dragon buried within her very soul. And they had a very strong bond. There was going to be a lot of character expansion on this bond, but due to time constraints, Kazuki Takahashi was forced to cut that one short. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, moving on from that, we have the next one on the list, Joey Wheeler. Okay, I'm just gonna get to the nitty-gritty on this one, because Joey has surprisingly a lot of backstory.
Honestly, though, I just want to put this out there. I feel like when it came to 4Kids, I feel like 4Kids really want to make a stereotypical New Yorker type character for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
Because the sad part is Joey was, in some ways, personality-wise, was a lot like that in both versions of the anime.
Exactly. Like, legitimately, like, I get there are some stereotypes and stuff, but they really went overboard with Joey, just a tad bit.
Uh-huh. So, put a long story short, Joey was taught how to duel by Yugi's grandfather, Solomon. He has a very troubled backstory. His dad's an alcoholic gambler who, unfortunately, apparently racked up a lot of debt to the point where Joey's mom up and left, taking his sister with her. And the thing was, part of the reason this is not shown in the second series anime. The reason Joey stayed with his dad was a little deeper than one would have you believe. He stayed behind because, first off, he actually cares about his father, surprisingly, considering his dad's a piece of shit. But the other reason being that Joey felt it was his responsibility to at least try and help his dad pay off the debt, which is why, essentially, if you watch Season 0, he tends to be a bit money hungry, but again, it's because he's trying to help his dad get out of the financial shit he's in. Nothing else, he has a sense of duty.
I doubt did his dad ever get the help he needed, or did he?
I don't think so.
Well, then
he tried, though. Give Joey credit for trying.
He did try.
No, I'll give him credit for trying. Then if his dad didn't get any help, then he's just a lost cause from there.
Yeah, but Joey, like I said, Joey's backstory is a bit of a mess. Of course, his primary goal going forward was helping his sister who was going blind. And basically, he eventually succeeded in getting the surgery she needed. And here's the thing, that a little gross mistranslation of 4Kids part. The dub says $3 million, but it's actually 3 million yen, which translates to roughly $30,000 US. Give or take a few.
We kids, we dumb.
No, it was the assumption that a dollar equaled a yen, but the value of a yen, I could get into a whole conversion thing, but I'm not gonna. Joey also used to be basically, I'm gonna be straight up honest, he used to be basically a hood rat and a gangbanger. Ironically got his ass kicked by a local school bully, and also dueled in tournaments to improve himself and aid Yugi. Almost defeated Yami Merrick, but lost literally due to a technicality.
また一人闇への生贄となってこの世から消えたな。黙れ、城之内くんはまだ死んじゃいない。
And of course, he has a love interest, Mai Valentine.
Or, in the sub, Kujaku Mai.
Which, essentially, I'll get into that in a second. Basically, he's hot-tempered but incredibly loyal. That's Joey in a nutshell. Which also goes back to a sense of, responsibility for his father. Who, again, is an alcoholic piece of shit. I've already said my opinions on Joey, so y'all can go have at it.
Oh boy.
He has good character potential, I'll just say that.
If anything, when it comes to most intelligence, Joey doesn't always. Here's what I have to say about Joey, and I'm sure the rest of you can agree with me. He thinks more with his heart and gut than more with his head sometimes.
This is very true.
He's very hard-headed and stubborn most times when it comes to certain situations, but from what I remember in Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 and shit, when little Yugi defended him and Tristan from a giant-ass bully and shit like that. So if anything, it shows that Joey has a good heart. He really does. In his own way. Joey is just... He's a bumbling idiot, yes, but he's, like I said, he's heart of gold, and he actually cares for a lot of people more than he did. Like, he really, really went out all of his way just to get money to help freaking Serenity's eye surgery, and God knows that ain't cheap.
Nope, especially considering that he had to cough up at least, I can only guess the minimal amount he would need for such a surgery, at least a few $1,000s, considering how delicate the surgery must have been.
And given how the grand prize from Duelist Kingdom was like, what was it? What, over $1 million or something?
Yeah, like 3 million.
So let me ask you something. If most eye surgeries cost like what, $1,000 or $2,000?
Mm-hmm.
And he got 3 million. It makes you wonder, did Joey use every single money of that grand prize on his sister and his sister alone just to make sure it worked?
Knowing Joey, I have a feeling he probably would have anyway, if it came down to it.
Yeah. I'm not saying Joey got greedy or he spent it on himself. No.
I don't think he would have. Knowing Joey, I feel like he would have probably given his sister at least a chunk of that money for, if she needed it. I don't see Joey just hoarding that money for himself.
No. That's not what I'm trying to imply. I was asking, like, if he's done other stuff with the money and stuff, or if he put it all in Serenity. Because I feel like Joey would be the kind of guy who would use the money for charities type thing, in a way.
That, or help pay off his father's debt.
That is, well, how much is his father's debt now that I think about it?
They never stated it. And again, this was Season 0, which is only at best semi-canon. So we don't know how much of it applies to the second series at this point.
Well, so his money, that money could have disappeared to either his father's debt or all of his sister's surgery or his charity. But one of the three,
he could have kept a chunk of it, like, in case he needed it. Give Joey this much. He
investment.
At least he's somewhat responsible, given his temperament.
Though he has fumbled with his responsibility a bit here and there.
But he's tried his best.
Yeah, he really has. Anyone else want to put their inputs on Joey?
I quote,
"Fix your deck!"
For those who are wondering why Sammy said that at the beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff,
He had nothing but monster cards in his deck.
That was the original series, thank God.
Yes, but not only that, they weren't even strong attack monsters. They were mostly like low star monsters and low attack monsters a bit too.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they fixed that over time. And hell,
Yes.
it's gotten to the point where a lot of Joey's better cards have been banned from tournaments.
For those who don't know, Joey uses warriors a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And a Red Eyes Black
Soldier of
Dragon, a Lord Red here.
Oh, it's mean of Lansta.
I don't know why he keeps that fucking monstrosity in his deck, but whatever.
It's adorable. Shut up.
Rocket Warrior is literally far more useful. I don't want to hear it.
You're far more useful.
And don't forget his most powerful monster in his deck, Guilford the Lightning. Get the fuck out of here.
But what about Red Eyes?
I said his most powerful monster, not his ace monster.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, his most powerful monster, I think, is like what, Guilford the Lightning?
Yes, and with good reason. That thing is a Raigeki on legs.
Basically, for those who don't know what Guilford the Lightning's main ability is,
You sacrifice 3 monsters instead of 2. It destroys every monster on your opponent's side of the field.
And it was essentially his anti-god card. In fact, he almost beat Merrick with it. Long story short, Joey has come a long way from his days as a rookie and basically a chump to essentially being a champion in the making. Hell,
actually,
but...
I actually want to bring this up, and I know it's a little spoiler-ish, but if you already watched it, So, for those who've seen Battle City, I remember we all know how Joey let Yugi keep Joey's Red Eyes throughout Battle City, right?
Yes.
So everyone in the comments can answer this, or give their thoughts and opinions about this. So, Joey and Yugi had their final battle near the end of Battle City Arc, but we don't know what happens and stuff. So here's the question. Did Joey actually beat Yugi, or did Yugi win and Joey he gave it back to Joey out of a good sportsmanship or respect, or did Joey somehow find another one? Because that card is fucking rare for one.
I have the feeling that Joey probably beat him, and here's why I think this. One, knowing Joey's character, I doubt he just simply accepts his Red Eyes back just like that. Remember, at the start of Battle City, when Yugi won Red Eyes back from that rare hunter, Joey refused to accept it. The reason being he wanted to earn it back on his own terms, which meant beating Yugi. Going by that logic and the fact that Joey did use Red Eyes again later on, it's somewhat safe to assume that Joey basically beat Yugi. I'm not going 100% certain, but I have a very strong feeling Joey probably did beat Yugi.
I'm gonna have to agree with Hazard on that one because Joey would not just plainly take it back from Yugi giving it to him.
Yeah, Joey's the type of person that will not just accept handouts. He's too noble for that. I mean, if you look at his character, it makes sense that my theory would actually make the most sense. I could be dead wrong, but that's the theory I have to stick with here.
I agree.
Sammy, what do you think?
The fuck you mean? Yugi is the queen of games.
Oh my god.
Well, what's like
Yugi is the king of games. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. No, I'm just kidding.
Give your honest thoughts.
Nah, he most likely beat the shit out of Yugi.
I mean, probably not. Could be wrong.
Though, then again, I'm probably sure Yugi kind of blackmailed him that, like, if you say anything that I lost, you're a dead man.
That's more Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged type than normal Yugi, but alright.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, considering Joey had Red Eyes and Yugi never used it again, like, let's be real here. Yugi never used Red Eyes ever again after Battle City, so it stands to reason that Joey most likely beat him for it.
Oh, yeah.
That's fair.
That's just my reasoning. Because I had to look very close at this shit and looking at it, I had to do a bit of character analysis on Joey here. But we're getting a little off topic at this point. So, overall thoughts on Joey, guys, before we move on to the next one?
Fix your deck!
Not headstrong a bit, but stubborn, but heart of gold. Simple enough.
Yeah.
Joey is, he's got his faults, but he's a good dude. And the only issue I have with him isn't even his stubborn or dumb decisions at times. It's literally how I put this. Don't get me wrong, I respect his reasoning for it, but I don't like leaving everything up to luck, which is why I have an issue with Joey a little bit. But that's just me. And of course, a number of fans will complain about this, let's be honest. How he never picked up that Mai has a thing for him. Joey, you sap. That's all I have to say to you.
Joey, you blind motherfucker.
Until it was too late.
Anyways.
You had to let the bitch drive away now, did you?
Next one.
Apply the handbrake, you dumb bitch.
Nice work, boy blunder. Look, next time I decide what we're doing.